What is happening? It is Ben Shepherd here and welcome back to RunThrough TV. Today's guest, she's a cracker.
Hi, my name's Laura Watts, and yeah, I've just run Badwater 135-mile ultra marathon in Death Valley. So yeah, I'm not a professional runner, I just do it because I love it.
So you've just heard what Laura's done, but for those who don't know, what is Badwater 135?
So yeah, it's ultra marathon. It starts at Badwater Basin, which is the lowest point in the United States. It's 282 foot below sea level. It crosses 3 mountain ranges, and it finishes at Mount Whitney Portal, which is like the portal to the highest mountain in the United States. So I think we do about 15,000 foot of climb, but it's also held in July. So it's the hottest time of the year in Death Valley. So temperatures, well, the hottest temperature we had was 51 degrees, which was in the Panamint Valley. We literally boiled alive for about 9 hours. So yeah, that's basically it. And it's very difficult to get into. It's like an invitational race. So you have to have quite a good running CV. And then the race director, Chris Kosman, and a panel of people kind of select the top 100 ultra runners. So it was like a complete honor to I know most people probably think that isn't an honor to put yourself through that, but for me it was an honor to get selected and have a go.
Temperatures up to 51 degrees. I mean, how do you even train for something like that?
So a few different ways. First of all, we bought an infrared sauna for home. We bought that in 2020, and it's like a phone box. It's not very big,
Okay.
but it's perfect. It goes up to 70 degrees. So I started off in the sauna about a month before, and on the Badwater website there's like some sample heat training guides that other runners have done. So I was following one of those, so literally starting off for 20 minutes a day, and then towards the end I was going up to 75 minutes in the I was literally going out to get more water, but so I was doing that. Then I was going out running at the hottest point of the day, wearing like 2 thermal tops, thermal leggings, gloves, a hat. It was like everyone was looking at me like I was just weird. So I was still doing that. Then also we bought a Peloton tread, and I was doing sort of training runs on that and a lot of hiking. And we had 2 electric heaters. This is not the best time to be using electric heaters where the energy is through the roof, but I was like, oh, I don't care. So yeah, we bought those, and so I was literally doing those classes with the heat burning me. And also we're very lucky, we live near Chichester, and Chichester University has a heat chamber, called an environmental chamber. So I had like 6 sessions in there where I was they're basically going on the treadmill. The only bad thing about it was the rectal thermometer that I had to use temperature. It really was what's the word? I was really taking it seriously, but it was brilliant. They get your core temperature up to 39, and then I just sort of walk on the treadmill for the rest of the session. It was all about actually lowering your core temperature, making you sweat sooner. I mean, it's very scientific, but I don't quite probably understand exactly everything that was doing to my body, but it all helped.
Fair play, she put herself through some serious training to get to that point, and actually she'd been waiting 2 years. She actually got selected back in 2020, but I mean, thanks COVID, didn't get on the start line till 2022. But what was it like actually standing on that world famous start line?
It was funny, we drove down from Furnace Creek, which is 17 miles from the start, and my husband had made a playlist, and so we had all songs like AC/DC, Highway to
yeah.
and
Just what you want.
yeah, so we had them pumping out the stereo, and I was like, oh my goodness, it's finally happening. And then we get to the start line, and it's exactly like you see on the YouTube videos. It's so there's some photos, and then they played the US national anthem, and this lady called Joyce, she sang. But it was quite funny because during the national anthem, this car alarm started going off in the car park, and it was also really awkward. It was like, does she stop? Does she keep going? And it took ages to silence. I mean, it sort of broke the ice in a way, but it was amazing. It was just like amazing being there, and everyone was literally dressed in, with their flashing lights on, and it was a bit surreal. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm actually about to do this, So I was kind of scared, but just embraced it and was just trying to soak up every minute of being there.
Let's go, Bob! Woo! Laura!
was really good because there's the 3 starting waves. So I was on the 8 o'clock starting wave, and I was really pleased about that because you basically, everyone's got to get to mile 50.8 by 10 o'clock in the morning. So I felt like I had an extra 3 hours in the bag for the 11, who are the super duper runners. But yeah, I started running, and everyone kept saying to me, you've got to start really slowly. So I did start really slowly, but everyone else was starting really slowly. So I found myself kind of moving up the field quickly, and I was like, God, Laura, slow down. And it was just brilliant, especially the first because the first couple of hours, you've got all the support crews following the runners in my wave who are heading towards Furnace Creek, and then you've got all the next lot of starters who are driving the other way. So there was a lot of beeping and sort of cheering. So I was really trying not to get swept up in the euphoria. I just put my music on and just try to just literally sort of focus and think, right, get to Furnace Creek, 17 miles, just really take it so steady.
It's such a crazy race, and there are just so many different variables in play. So what was Laura's strategy for the actual race?
The support crew were told not to let me quit at any cost unless I was that was one strategy, not to die. But then I literally had broken down because there was one of the articles I read, I think it was called Zwitty's Ultra Guide, and he'd literally broken the race down into sections of say going to Furnace Creek, then the next one to Stovepipe Wells, and I'd basically had these little cards laminated with all his sort of advice of this section to walk it, this blah blah blah. So my strategy was get to each timing checkpoint, and once I got to the 50.8 mile bit, I had 2 hours in the bank then, so I think I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning. Everyone said once you've got to that bit, all the other sort of time limits are really achievable. So I knew that that was my main worry of getting to there by 10 a.m. just because I wasn't quite sure, with the hills, etc. Even though, you're thinking 14 hours, and I could easily do 50 miles in 14 hours normally, but there's all that worry, isn't it, with the elevation and the heat and how, and also as the race started at night, that was another thing. You were literally going into it. I've never really started an ultra like that at night where you've go into it sleep deprived from the way you go. So I was literally breaking it down into doggy-sized chunks.
I mean, in 135 miles, at some point you'd imagine those demons, they're just going to creep in. So what were the low points for Laura?
I did try it and be really positive because I thought, I've told the whole world on social media that I'm doing this. Kind of like, I feel a bit of pressure from that, but also I think because I did start off I really did, for me, I felt like I really had started off so well, and I thought, I'm here, this opportunity. I mean, of course I had low points, when I was sort of going up Father Crowley and it was still like 50 degrees and and the elevation was quite savage, and especially going to the second night when I was really, really tired. I never felt like I was not going to do it, but and also having a support crew, it was kind of, I can't let them down. They've given up their time to come and look after me and get me to the finish line. I did have sort of low points when in my head I was like, what am I doing? But I knew that the feeling of I had to go and get that buckle, failure was not an option.
And she did get there. She got the t-shirt, she got the world famous buckle, but what was that moment actually like?
Yeah, it was so emotional. I mean, I literally kept crying throughout the race, just sort of like feeling when I kept thinking about everything and how far I'd come and what I was doing. But the last sort of 13 miles of the race are up Mount Whitney, and no one had told me how savage the hill was. It was so steep. We'd driven it twice, but obviously it's very different in the car to actually, when you're on foot, when you've got 122 miles on your legs. I was like, oh my goodness, this is insane. And so I was like just thinking, please let this be over, and then but I was still so happy. And then my support crew parked at the top, they came down with the Union Jack a couple of 100 yards, and we literally ran in the last bit sort of together, and it was so emotional crossing the finish line. It really was, thinking, I've done it, I've actually finished Badwater. It was just an amazing feeling I can't explain.
Massive thank you to Laura for coming on RunThrough TV. Now, this is just the highlights of the conversation, the full conversation we had. We go into more depth about the race. It's a brilliant conversation. So if you want to hear that unedited, just over 20 minutes long, then the link to that is in the description of this episode. Do make sure that if you've got any guests you'd like to see on RunThrough TV in the future, you pop them in the comment section below, and give this video a like and subscribe to RunThrough TV as well. I will catch you again very soon.